What's up, everybody? I'm Dominique.
And I am Brandy, and we are your hosts of Hey Fave, a weekly podcast where two best friends get together and talk about everything and nothing at the same time. What's going on across the world? Y'all, I'm hoarse, so excuse me. Excuse me. What's going on, Fave?
I'm good. How you be?
I'm good.
Good. Hello, people. I hope you're well. I didn't slide that in there.
Good. What we got going on today? If I sound like a man, y'all, I'm so sorry.
You do not sound like a man.
Great. Awesome.
My goodness. Why is that always the default when a chick is hoarse or something? Oh my gosh, I sound like a man.
Because
well, sometimes they might.
You see how low my voice is right now? I can almost sing bass, probably.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you go on your quest of finding country music yet or no?
You know what? I haven't. Okay. I went on a quest of finding R&B Christian music some more.
Okay.
I don't even know if that's a thing. R&B Christian music.
That's what they're calling it. That's
Christian R&B.
Yeah, I've seen that used.
I mean, they got some nice stuff out there. I didn't know it was a thing. I know you shared some stuff with me, and I went and was searching some more, and then I was searching for some more like hype dance, not just rap, hip hop, Christian hip hop, but just more of a dance, So yeah, found some Afrobeat stuff and
yes.
Yeah.
Now I have some of those saved. I have I think it's a reggae dude. I don't be knowing what exactly because I know your thing with accents also. So,
no, that's just the UK, or whatever that is. Is it UK, Britain, whatever that is. Yeah, UK. It's just their accent. Sorry, y'all. I love y'all. I still love y'all. It's not that I don't like it. I can't understand what you are saying. That's all. I have to listen really hard. That's the only issue. But it's nothing wrong with y'all accent. It's not wrong with my ears. That's all. I can't understand y'all.
Lord.
Oh, Jesus, help. But yes, I am going to make it a priority to find some black country music and see what I find. Yeah, I gotta do that. So yeah, I'm gonna do that soon, immediately, so we can get that done. So we can, update y'all on and spotlight some artists because.
Well, I read the list last week, didn't I?
Yeah, you read a couple.
Recording? Like those are the popular ones.
Oh, okay.
That I've seen people other people know about the people. I think.
Oh, well, I mean, me. I just don't know. Sorry.
Well, I mean, you're not the only one though, so you can share what you learn once you're on it. That's fine. This is still Black Music Month, Black Music Appreciation Month. That's what it's called. So we're gonna keep with that theme. So today's random question is just gonna, continue the celebration.
Okay.
I figured why not. So the random question of today is: if you could relive one era of Black music history, which one would it be and why?
Well, as you can see, I'm in my 90s apparel right now. I wish I had an airbrush shirt, but Wu-Tang will do. But I would love to relive the 90s. Now, I was only a couple years old in the 90s, so no, I was old enough to understand Wait, 85. Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, the
Okay.
90s was really dope. The music was dope. The apparel was dope. I like the earrings, the jewelry. Everything was dope in the 90s to me, in my opinion. So I would definitely love to relive the 90s over again.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What
I
about
agree because that's what a lot of what I listen to still.
you? Mhm.
And because it's like that's what I listen to now. It's like I'm going back, even though so like I was born right at the beginning of the '90s, so I was little. I wasn't really, I didn't grow up
Mhm.
listening to all of the things. Like you
Mhm.
rediscover it once you get older to actually be able to enjoy it and listen to it. And looking back, it looked like a fun time
Mhm.
to be older than a little kid. Like, of course, I had a
Yeah.
good childhood. I had fun growing up, but I feel like
Yeah.
it also it looked like the people older than me. How about that? It looked like the people that really got to live and grow up in the '90s or were
Yeah.
already, a little older. They look like they had fun. So it looked
Yeah.
like a fun time to go back to.
Yeah.
Just the
Yeah.
fun part though.
It was just at least my growing up, it was just so like cool, like cookouts, family on the porch, like outside, like you playing 90s music, like it was just a good time. It was peaceful. People weren't going to parties and shooting it up. Not that I know of. I didn't hear a lot about shooting at parties. Everybody danced back then. Like it wasn't just going to stand at a party and look at each other. People were actually dancing and enjoying each other and having fun. Like I want that culture back. I don't know if it's really done nowadays. I actually heard, I don't know if it was on TikTok. I don't know where I heard it, but I heard that people aren't really doing cookouts anymore. Not really. Like
With the poses,
cookouts.
like people not throwing something on the grill enough
Yeah,
or
like
something.
that's what they were saying, that people aren't really even having like cookouts anymore, block parties,
I
like family reunions back then, like well, mine anyway. Like even on my dad's side, like everybody would come out, we all at the park, we cooking out, like we dancing, like it was just a fun time. It was a fun time. But yeah.
Yes, musically that was just a good era. It influenced culture and all of that. But
Hmm.
to your point, I do agree family functions aren't as popular or as big as they used to be.
Yeah.
I think people still do stuff. I think people still do cookouts maybe. But
I
they may not have the same vibe. Now I know
yeah.
like we still have cookouts and stuff
Yeah,
like
like
but
I know that like the people around me still have
yeah,
cookouts,
but is it
but
still
they
as
were saying that they don't see that anymore. So maybe it's just their circle of people
yeah.
that
Or
don't.
well, I think there has been a culture shift to finish my sentence, but also I think it depends on what age group and you like you say in the circles because like this does seem like a lot of the focus or the motivation for like the younger people or people that are partying now, they just want to party like club party or hookah and like everything's
Yeah.
a lounge, like that's what they just want to turn up, do the hookah lounge type vibe. They don't not
Yeah.
necessarily looking for the chill kickback
Yeah.
type stitch. So I can see, but yet, like you were saying, I think it comes with like who your circle like, cause yeah, like I think some people, but maybe it is just the older people, not older people, cause now it sounds like I'm calling people old.
But this was a
Uh,
this like it was somebody my age. You know what I need? Every
you know,
time I see,
so
keep telling myself to send you videos when I see something.
uh,
I
especially
should
if you
be.
want to bring it up.
Yeah, you're. Yeah,
um,
look.
well, no, so I think that's why I said let's not call people old, cause I was about to say like our age and up are considered or we some the younger people or the current generation would start calling us older even though we're not
Yeah.
old yet. um like but then there are the people in our age group that also like they are strictly still clubs and like the turn up. Not saying there's anything wrong with do your thing, like, cause I don't mind a little lounge sit, but also lounge is like a step down from the club sit. So
Yeah. Yeah.
energy wise, so
Yeah.
I mean, hey, you like what you like, but so maybe just to circle back, maybe I don't know, maybe the cookouts are. That's crazy though. So y'all
Yeah.
start having some cookouts.
I
We still
know.
have cookouts.
Look,
I
I'm
love a
glad
good
my people
cookout.
still have cookouts because
And then circling back to like what music era, 9 times out of 10, a good black family cookout, that's the music that's playing, the 90s stuff.
absolutely, and a couple line dances.
And like
Okay.
everybody wants to have 90s parties.
Hmm.
It's like that was just a good sweet spot
Yeah.
as far as like the music that could be a fun soundtrack to your life, pretty
Hmm.
much.
Yeah.
And
Even movies were good. Like there were some good movies that came out in the
okay,
90s. Like yeah, the 90s were just
it was a good
yeah.
era.
The
I
90s was
believe.
good.
Like I grew
90s
up
to
in the
lower
90s.
2000s.
Yeah, so
Like
90s and early 2000s. So yeah, like that's my era. And I learned like
yeah.
whenever you're like going back and like looking for 90s music, like when you have a 90s specific event, that's when I
Hmm.
start to realize how much of what like I remember is actually the early 2000s and not the 90s. But that makes
Yeah.
sense
Yeah.
because like the 90s, like I just got here. So
Yeah. I just got
like
here.
so,
Don't.
so
But it like music changed really quick. Like
mm,
from the 90s to into 2000, probably 2000, 2001. Like it shifted real quick. Like it was a totally different
difference.
sound.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean, it didn't stay too long. Um
So
and then I heard somebody say it was on TikTok. I should have sent you a video. But it was a post somebody made. They were like, when we are saying 90s babies, we're really talking about the people who were born in the 80s.
mm.
We're talking about 80s up. I was like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah,
I
because I
guess.
get that separation. Okay, so like me, I'm saying I just got here, but at least I had 10 years or 9 years in the 90s. It'd
Aren't you
be
glad?
oh,
Jesus.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, it'd be like the people that was born at the very end. You 98. I'm a 90s baby. You were literally still a baby.
You
you
2000s.
you
Oh,
grew up
you're
in the 2000s. Like that's I mean, you can still appreciate and enjoy 90s stuff, but I don't
Hmm.
I get where people are coming from there. It's like you can't
Yeah.
all the way claim it cuz you were literally a baby. You didn't get to enjoy or experience,
Fresh.
which is why I even say like I don't like I'm saying I was still a kid. Like I grew up in the
Yeah.
90s. So like I got the kid part, like of course the 90s, like I still have nostalgia, but like I recognize that someone born in the 80s or before has a different even there has a different 90s experience than I would have.
Yeah, I don't even claim to be a 90s baby.
Well, you're
I
not.
was a
You're an 80s
child.
baby.
Yeah, 80s, but still a child into the 90s, so I wasn't old enough to enjoy everything, but I do remember a lot of stuff from the
Like
90s. But
I think you can claim being not you. Well, like
golly.
that's what, it wasn't supposed to sound the way it came.
not you. You're
I feel like, of course, yes, technically, yes, you can claim being a 90s baby if you were born in the 90s, but you can't claim growing up in the 90s because depending on where you where you were born,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
so like yes, you would claim being an 80s baby, but
80s baby grew up in the
you grew up
90s.
in the 90s. Yeah, I think. Because the experience is different. Being a baby and a
Yeah.
toddler in a certain decade is different than like being 10 and up and experience like actually any age level. But like, because like even the people that were already grown in the 90s, they have a different experience than like teenagers and stuff and college
Absolutely.
students. And like, I think like each age level has a different experience
Yeah,
in the 90s.
definitely.
But we're talking about
Definitely.
music specifically. That just seemed like a fun talented. like everybody that was doing something could do what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like all the singers could sing.
Mm-hmm.
They were like real music, live music.
Yeah.
It was just a
You
good era.
you know what's funny? I went and celebrated my cousin's birthday
Mhm.
um the other day. And my some of my cousins are absolutely younger than I am, and so
Mhm.
their song choice is like
Mm.
stuff that's out today that I don't really listen
Yeah.
to. And so they were playing all the stuff, and they was all hype and stuff, and I'm like, "Who is this? Who is this?" And like I said before, back then I could tell what who uh the artist was,
Mhm.
what artist it was on the track or whatever. Now I can't really, unless you like really really popular. I have no
Mm.
idea. But yeah, they was listening to some. I was like, y'all turn on. I was like, throwing some Dipset, some Jay Z, some what else? Some Fat Man Scoop, some like all the. They're like,
Yeah.
what? What? I said some
Mm.
Ti, some Ludacris. The
They
two
didn't want no part.
thousands, yeah. But they, they threw some on because my cousin is the DJ, so he was like, I'll throw some on." And when it came on, it was like all dance music, like everybody was like,
Yeah.
"Hey!" I'm like, "See, all you had to do is play the music that we grew up
Yeah.
with. Y'all be good. We in here sitting here just quoting lyrics. That's what y'all do. Ain't nobody dancing. Everybody just quoting
Um,
lyrics and pointing guns to the sky, and you know, nobody's
yeah.
dancing. Put on some
No.
Soldier Boys, some
Mm.
2000s. Well, that's college days for me. Some little scrappy. I said a little scrappy. Somebody was like, little scrappy.
They only know
Like
him from TV now. They don't.
that.
They
That
don't
is,
know.
I guess so. I said some Walker
Wow.
Flocka, some Lil G, some not Lil G. Well, back then it was
Mm.
Lil Jeezy, but Jeezy. Just throwing
Was it
out some
little or
people.
young?
Young, it was young.
Okay,
Jeez.
I know a little bit. I was
Lord
like,
Jesus. Now it was a whole bunch of lils back then
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Young
Um,
Jeezy. I told him
a
plus
couple
what he.
youngs too, though. It was young Dro,
Yep.
young
Mm-hmm.
Jock,
Yep.
young
I was like,
Jeezy. Those are
see.
my youngs. That's as far as I got. That's,
I was like,
I
throw
don't think
on
I
that
know
music so
anymore.
we can dance. Nah.
Yeah.
They threw it on. Everybody was excited and danced and stuff. But I was like, dang, come on, can we get off the guns in the sky and the you show this off and I'm showing this off. Yeah, can we dance?
So
But
do
it was
you?
so
But do
hilarious. They looked at me crazy when I mentioned some of
do
those
is
names.
that not what happened in the 90s? Like, did the older people not question like, what is this you listening to, or like,
Probably. I'm sure they did because I think every generation does. My mama asked, "So who is this?" So,
you know?
yeah.
And they probably felt the same way, even with the dancing. Like they probably saw like what they were doing in the 90s. Like that ain't no real dancing. We would,
Hmm.
and back in our day, we used to dance. Now what is this?
Yeah.
All you do is shake your butt now. Like so they probably like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
probably the same. Each
Yeah.
shift
I'm.
in music.
Yeah. It is. It is. Yeah. But yeah, it was just hilarious to me how they were just looking at
Okay.
me crazy and asking
Like
me,
you were
"Who was
old.
that?" Yeah, like I was old. Now I know I'm in my last year of my 30s, but I don't
I
feel
mean,
old at
not
all.
yet. Like,
Yeah, this is my last year in my 30s.
huh?
Mhm.
No, wait,
Mhm.
wait. You got two more or one and a half.
Mm-mm. I'll
Like
be
next year.
39 in December.
So next year will be your last year.
Well, I guess it's because it's right at the end of the year, so
That's why you still got
yeah,
time.
that's
That's what I'm
fine.
saying. You
A
still got a year
year
and a
and
half.
11 months
Lord.
in my 30s.
You still got you a minute. Yeah. A
Y'all,
year and some change.
y'all,
You're fine. We're not going there.
it's getting real. It's
So yeah.
getting real. But yeah,
Um
but yeah,
yes,
that's funny. Little music change.
absolutely. And
See,
then
put
like
on our music so y'all can dance.
So, do they not make danceable music now, or just not what
Hmm.
you want to dance to? Oh.
It's not. It's like the stuff that they. So I compare the music that they listen to now. I compare that to all of the rap songs that we used to listen to that you couldn't dance to. But I mean, later, like a lot of the rappers came out with dancing songs, but you couldn't dance to. Let's see. Wait, did they come out with any dance? I know the Locks. Like you couldn't dance to the Lock songs. You couldn't dance to just certain rappers. So I think it's like just straight rap. Like it's just
Mhm.
more like let's let's say the lyrics and
Mhm.
act it out or whatever. It's not like more dancing. I don't know.
Well, maybe they figured you had R&B or something else for that. I don't know. Man, and
Guess.
then they was being tough. Tough dudes don't dance.
Yeah, yeah. The most dancing I see is all the TikTok dances that they take from samples of songs. And
Yeah.
I don't hear those playing. Like then I don't hear anybody playing those at a party. Um, I just only hear it on TikTok. But yeah, it's okay, y'all. I still
Well,
listen
they
to
don't
some.
dance. They do TikTok dances now. Like they
Yeah,
don't.
that's yeah. It's so sad, y'all. I be wanting y'all to have fun and dance and stuff, but
That's
y'all
fun to
just be looking
them.
at each other.
That is fun to them.
Yeah. Did I tell y'all that I went in and did an event? Um, and it
You
was all
did.
younger,
Or you told me you can continue
and they
just in
played all
case.
the night. They played all the little dance, even the stuff that they listened to. Played all
Hmm.
their songs. They just looked at each other. They didn't even know what
Were
to
they shy?
do. They weren't shy. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they were because none of them was dancing. Everybody was in their phone. They ate, got in their phone, and they actually left out of the party.
Oh
It
wow.
was hilarious. And so the DJ is like my age. I was like, just play our stuff. It's a couple of us here. So that's what he did. He just played the songs that we listen to. I
Hmm.
was like, this is y'all's party. Y'all to live out. Yeah. It was
Mm.
pretty sad. It was pretty sad. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They like
Yeah.
what they like.
Yeah. 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 90s.
Well, yes.
We want
Speaking
it
of the
back.
90s,
90s.
musically, because was everything okay society wise in the 90s?
Probably not.
That's why I was like, musically, we want the fun vibe, and that,
we
we got to be
yeah.
careful what you ask for, especially with the people that's
Yeah.
in charge. Ain't no telling, because I was too young to know exactly, you know, what exactly. Like you hear stuff, because didn't Rodney King happen in the 90s?
I think so.
So listen,
It
hey,
was a couple things
and
happened.
then
Yeah, I'm
so
sure it
when
was more.
you were like people weren't shooting up parties and stuff. Isn't Biggie and Tupac that all was the 90s? So
The
hey,
90s, 2000s,
we
yeah.
we want
Yeah.
the vibe. We want the
96.
music. We want the music back. Maybe not all of the
Well,
90s
not
back.
all of the 90s. Not the bad parts of the 90s,
we
but
we want the
the
fun,
good
the music.
parts. The
Um,
good
but
vibes
yeah.
of the 90s.
Speaking of the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
Hulu has a documentary about Freaknik that was
Yes.
big in the 90s. I had
Mm-hmm.
actually forgotten about the documentary,
I
but
heard about it, but I was scared to watch it.
uh, um, we
uh,
finally watched it.
mm-hmm. We
And we're going
did.
to talk about it. Hopefully, you guys
Mm-hmm.
have seen it by now. If not, spoiler
Yeah.
alert, spoiler alert.
Yes. Go
Maybe if
watch
that's
it.
required. Go watch it though,
Mm-hmm.
yes. So yes,
Yeah.
then so to kick this off, what did you think in general thoughts? What did you think about the documentary without going into details of what we saw
Yeah,
yet?
I thought it was a very good documentary. It was definitely different from what I thought I was going to see. I thought that they was about to air everybody business out. I thought
Mm,
it was going to be we caught you and now you're on tape. Find your
mm,
parents, see if you see them on here. I mean, you could have still did that, but it was definitely it was more informational
mhm,
of how it started, and how it ended. Very good documentary. And yeah, I would look at it again, see if I missed anything. But yeah, very good documentary. I loved it. I
I
definitely
agree.
loved it.
It was very well put together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah, like informative, not because you know how sometimes you see documentaries and it just seems like it just tears down the thing that it's talking about, or it only shows the negative or whatever. I think it was
Yep.
well rounded. Like it talked about it started, it talked about the good
Mm-hmm.
points, but it also talked about some things weren't so great.
Yeah.
So I think it was very well rounded and very well put together. From
Definitely.
someone outside looking in, it seemed like everybody knew what they were talking about because that also happens. People do documentaries and it's like they weren't even there, or
Mm-hmm.
they don't know what they
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yes, I think it was good. They did a good job. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you? Yeah, let's just do. What did you learn? Okay, no. First, did you know anything about Freaknik before watching it?
I heard about Freaknik, um, but I didn't know anybody that went to Freaknik.
Mm.
I didn't know how it started. Nothing. I didn't even know how it ended. Um, but yeah, I just I it reminded me of, like, for us, we have like a bike rally here, well, that goes on at Myrtle Beach. It just reminded me of that. And I was never able to go. Like, anytime they had that, we couldn't go, or I couldn't go. But
You probably didn't need to.
yeah, probably. Or if we did go, we didn't go near the activity. So yeah.
Now, did you guys? I know, like that was a big thing, like older end of high school. I didn't go, but like
Mhm.
that also became a big thing. Like that's where they went for spring break. It was like, oh,
Mhm.
we going to beach, we getting rooms and stuff. That was a thing for y'all too.
Yes. So my senior year, 2004, I did go to Myrtle Beach for it was the senior. Dang, what is it called? Senior
Senior trip,
something. I guess probably not, but
not spring
it
break though specifically.
no, it wasn't a spring break. It was like
Oh, okay.
everybody's senior. That's when they graduated. That's where they went, and I
Oh,
forgot what it's
okay.
called.
Did we
But
do
yeah,
that?
I did go to Myrtle Beach. Um,
Okay.
my when I graduated, and yeah, I mean, it's okay, but yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, spring break
Oh,
and
okay.
all that.
Cool.
Yeah, it was high.
Maybe it wasn't spring break. Maybe it was a senior trip. Anyway, I know like that's what that was they were, everybody went. I didn't, but I
Yeah,
knew that was a thing. Um,
yeah,
did I know about Freaknik?
yeah.
I just
Did
heard
you?
of it.
Yeah, I've only heard
I
of
just
it.
I've just heard, people talk about it, especially and then and I've only heard of it in the kind of sense or like when people refer to it, they refer to it as something wild. Like
Absolutely. I only heard the
that's
negative
the only
part of
yeah, like
Freaknik. I didn't hear
that's
nothing positive.
or not even negative. Well, I guess it depends on what you feel about it, how wild or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I didn't ever hear like anybody bash it. It's just in passing. Whenever anybody brought up Freaknik, it just sound like, oh, it got crazy out there, like that type of
Yeah.
thing. I don't know if I know anybody that went. I've never heard anybody I know personally talk about it. I've just heard
Yeah.
about it in the medias and stuff. And then
Yeah.
I think that comes with the connotation that people get when they hear the word freak. Also, I think like those
Mhm.
assumptions came also just because of the name. Yeah, so I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know. Now getting into details, I didn't even know it was a college thing. Like,
I didn't either. I thought it was
mm,
always an adult, like I said, like the bike rally. I
mhm.
thought it was an all adult situation. I didn't even know it was a college situation. So yeah, that's some new information. All of this was new, basically. All the
Yeah,
stuff that I found out about it. I'm
that's
like,
why.
oh, okay, that's
That's why
new.
I asked, did you know anything about it? Because so then that just means this whole thing, like, because the next question is, what did you learn? Is like everything.
Absolutely. So I learned how it started
Mhm.
from college students who had, what was it, the state groups.
Yeah, so it started in Atlanta. It stayed in Atlanta. It was an Atlanta fun. So I guess we should do that for the people who may not
Who
know what
do not
Freaknik
know
is.
what Freaknik?
Um, it's a function. It started. It was in Atlanta. It was a yearly thing. It pretty much started as an alternative to spring break, like the
Mm-hmm.
popular, like the Daytona and Orlando, or like the vanilla functions in
Yeah.
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It was something for the black folks. It started in the AUC. If you don't know what that is, that's where all the black schools are in Atlanta. The African American University Center. Like that's still a
Mm-hmm.
thing now. There's where
It
Clark
is
Morehouse.
now. It's just three.
Okay,
Cause
cause
did
yeah,
they
I
include
got a
Morris
little
Brown?
confused.
It's
Sure,
Clark
maybe
Atlanta,
Morehouse.
Morehouse, and Spelman.
Spellman. Okay, yeah, they started
Those
naming
three.
schools. I was like, "Dang, all of them is over there." But okay,
Mm-hmm.
so now it's
All in
just
the one big circle. I went
um
one homecoming. I was like, "Ooh, oh, y'all right next door to each other."
yeah.
Like
Oh,
literally in a circle.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
now
crazy.
I knew about the 3. I'm just saying when they were naming the more of them, I
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew about the big 3, the popular 3. But so it started there.
Yep.
Something they had over there, it was they had state groups. So it's like pretty much all the kids from each state had a little group, and like they would host
Mm-hmm.
events and stuff and all of that.
Yep.
So it was a group of the DC students that
Mm-hmm.
started
Yeah.
it.
I just
Um
want to say this. I'm so sorry
uh-huh.
because
Go for
it
it.
it just reminds me of when I went to an HBC, North Carolina Central University, Eagle Pride,
Mhm.
and it was the same way. Like there were people came to our school in like groups of from their state, and DC and Maryland
Mhm.
were the group that's always just was hype.
They were a
Like
vibe.
they were a vibe. They definitely were. Like got the party started, was hype all the time. Love them. Love them. Like I met so many people that was from DC, Maryland. The music that they
The
brought,
DMV.
DMV, that's what they call it stuff. Like, yeah. I was like DMV. Now when they mentioned DMV, I automatically thought the driver's license place when they first mentioned it. So I was like, the
Okay.
DMV, the driver's license plate, but whatever. Y'all just DC Maryland crew. Y'all turn up. I love it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you good. So yeah, like they were missing, their thing, their
Mm-hmm.
fun, and hold on.
Okay. Mm-hmm. We see it. Gonna pause. I'll pause it
um,
right now.
like they missed their fun, and then also it was spring break time. They saw what was happening in other areas, and then they like everybody couldn't afford to go to Florida or go
Mm-hmm.
home, like they pointed out. Which I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, I didn't even think about that. Like
Yeah.
some
That's kind of
people
messed
had to
up.
go far and couldn't even go home if they wanted to. So
Yeah.
they were like, hey, let's do something here. So their group, their club, that
Mm-hmm.
year they had decided anyway, like the chic song, the Le Freak was
Mm-hmm.
popular and all of that. So they had
The
already
freak
decided that
out.
their theme,
That.
yes. Um they had already decided that all of their events, that the freak was the theme for all of their events that year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So then once they decided to put this picnic, they wanted to have a picnic in place of spring break for the people that weren't traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And so they put the word freak and picnic together, and that's how we got Freaknik. But ultimately it was an alternative. It was an alternative to spring break for the black kids, because
Mm-hmm.
as you know, if you don't know, the ones that were happening elsewhere were mostly predominantly white. Like that's where all the girls gone wild stuff happened, right?
Oh, I
I
wonder if they
thought.
did anything
I
about
think.
that. They
Um,
made videos of that.
right, and sold them, and yeah, they
Oh,
pointed that
oh,
out too. There were
oh.
once stuff started getting sketchy for the blacks at Freaknik, and they're like, they're not saying nothing about them. But
Yeah,
yeah, so that's where it came from. A group of
yeah,
DC students wanted something fun to do for us, by us, pretty much, and that's
yeah,
where Freaknik came from. Um, So it started out small, when like yeah, especially compared to what it became. It
yeah.
started out small. It was just the college students, just the people around, just from the AUC. They
Mm,
gathered.
Yep.
and had a dope picnic. And then as the years went on, it grew to something huge, like taking up multiple blocks
Yeah.
of Atlanta.
I didn't know it was all of Atlanta now. That's
Just
crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy. And just to
Um
think the traffic now. And then in the documentary, they didn't even mention
yeah.
that traffic was horrible. They mentioned it after it started getting, I guess,
Hmm.
bad for Olympics stuff. But they said when
So they
that was
didn't mind
happening,
it
yeah, because they would just get out the cars in the middle of the
and
street.
party in the street and
Yeah,
walk and park and walk to wherever they were gonna go.
yeah.
Um so I guess yeah, so like you said, pretty much it reminds you of Black Bike Week. It also
Hmm.
kind of reminded me. I never went to the Apple Chill, but it sounds like that might have been what that was like. Like that might have been our version of it.
Wait, Apple Chill, Franklin Street,
I don't
or
know. I
is
don't
this
know even know
something?
where it was.
Oh,
I just know it was a thing that everybody. Wasn't it like a huge concert?
okay, never mind. I am thinking of something totally different, and I think it
I
was
see.
named something
No, there
else.
was Apple Chill in Chapel Hill. That's
Okay,
the Apple Chill Festival.
yes, and they
That was
stopped it.
food and stuff. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking
So there
about.
was another type of thing that they had on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill. Oh no, it was the Halloween situation.
That was just
Um,
Franklin Street. Go to Franklin Street.
yeah, Franklin Street for Halloween situation. They stopped that too, which that
Were
was
the people
stupid.
cutting up? Oh,
I
maybe
don't know.
it
They
wasn't
weren't
too
cutting up
bad.
when I was going. But no, that was fun. That was so much fun. But I believe they stopped doing that too. Dang it, it would be so packed. Good
They still have
times.
it. There's one happening. The one that I'm thinking of, I
The
think.
Apple Chill. I don't know why
Anyway,
that
it
sounds so
sounded like a
familiar.
concert. Like I know all the kids my age, like that was something they were trying to go to, and just
Yeah.
finding comparisons. Well, what I'm getting at, it seemed like a lot of the things we have now were like mini versions of Freaknik.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Um,
Yep.
so it's like it started everything. But so it was a huge black party. They would just gather the music. They would have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it started in Atlanta. Then was it like the next year? Other college students started coming, or was it
I
like a little more
I
of a
believe
year?
it was like the following year. I think they
It's
was
like they heard
having
about
one
it.
every year.
Um,
Um.
well, I know they had one every year. I was just wondering when other students started coming. Um,
Uh. I just know that they mentioned that '94 was the best time, so I'm guessing it's when
yes.
everybody started coming in
Uh,
'94.
well, I think '93 might have also been lit too, because that's when it got
Is that when?
wilder. That's when it started getting. That was
Oh,
like
okay.
the Uncle Luke era, I
Oh,
think.
okay. Oh, he was
Uh,
in the documentary too, and
mm,
that was actually pretty interesting because that's when he became very popular
yeah,
and was putting out
I
that
have
type of
thoughts.
music. You have thoughts on what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on
Oh,
Uncle Luke?
well, no, just in general. Well, his involvement is like he took credit for making it wilder, and I'm like, or bringing the fun, but also AKA making it wilder, making it more freakier. And I'm just wondering, was that a good thing? Like, like I know, like that's what some people were on in general. Like some people
Yeah,
were on that type of time. They were coming like, I'm here to have fun. This is my weekend to turn up,
yeah,
maybe do something I wouldn't do at home.
right.
But it's I don't know. It seemed like he was proud of pushing it even more in a wild direction. And I'm like not taking it away. People like his music very party like I'm not taking away
Yes.
from what his music contributes to parties and stuff. I'm just wondering if he should be as proud of it as he is.
Now, at close to the end of the documentary, he did admit that it did get out of hand, and that's not what it was supposed to be. I think it was him and Jermaine
JD.
Dupri were talking. Yeah. we're talking about in the studio where they was like, yeah, it just got out of hand. Like it was too much. Um, but I'm like, y'all wanted to make it freaky, and that's what
Yeah, yeah.
happened.
I guess, I
Like,
guess, like, yeah. I think that's what I'm wondering. Like, did it have to shift from just being a fun party to like it being freaky, a freak fest?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um,
I don't
but
think you
I don't know.
needed to because it looked like. I mean, if they were doing the videos in order, it looked like people
Mm,
were having fun before that even was
yeah,
introduced. So yeah, it just got even more bigger. I
yeah.
believe when he started putting that
I
music out,
Let's see,
that
where
was
did
a
I put?
whole era. Like there were so many album uh CD mixes where it was just all like booty. I forgot they're called booty mixes because I had a couple of them,
Mm.
and yeah, they had a whole bunch of it out, and it was very 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 popular, very
Mm,
popular. Now I'm like, I remember that music. I ain't never went, but
yeah.
I remember the music.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess if that was the soundtrack of the time,
Yes.
then it is what, like, that was gonna naturally happen anyway. Now, if you
Yeah.
go to listen to some and like not to sound like ooh or judgmental or you go listen
Mm.
to some of the songs, you can side eye some of his lyrics in general.
You
Uh,
absolutely on every
uh,
single one of them, every
uh,
single song.
but like, ouch, if that was the sound of the time or like, I get it. I think maybe it's just literally his phrase. I brought the freak to Freaknik. Just raised the little eyebrows for me. Like,
Yeah, he did take credit for that. He
yeah,
definitely took credit for it.
but
Yeah.
I mean, so but like they seem to enjoy it. But if that's what the people were listening to, like they enjoyed it anyway. So like that just brought out
Hmm.
what type of time they were already on.
Yep.
Anyway, it seems like.
Yeah.
Um so I think 93 is the first year I wrote down like for anything notable anyway. So
Yeah.
but what I had marked was like, so that was his era and it was freakier, but it still seemed fun and
Yeah.
cool
Still
and
calm.
safe. Like it still like every it seems and it was still college. It was still a college party. What
Hmm.
from what it seemed like to me, but that is when people were traveling because he was from Florida, so
Yeah. Hmm.
that's people were traveling in, and I get the appeal
He also
because
took credit for how big Atlanta is now, which I was like,
see
sir, you
how
might have
can you
brought,
do that?
yeah, you might have brought some good music, some good booty mixed music to
Yeah,
the Freaknik, but you can't take credit for how Atlanta is big as it is now because you brought your type of music to Freaknik. Like, you might have been a part of it, but you don't take credit for Atlanta being known now because of that. But
no, like because like Dave said, it was already a thing. Like Atlanta was already like a cool
already a
place.
thing, right?
And then I think Freaknik itself probably helped with the vibe and the culture and like making it blackety, but it was already blackety black. It's just um like I think if anything is gonna it just in this scenario, just so people like no, they can't even take credit. I think if anything is gonna take credit, Freaknik itself like can take the credit. Uncle Luke cannot take this like because you were an outsider coming into
Yeah,
Freaknik. Did you add to the
absolutely.
party? Sure. But
Yes.
I feel like music being what it is, if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. And like I
Yeah.
feel like and the
Be-
way the appeal was it's like, oh, we got our own function. I feel like it would have grew either way, with or
yeah.
without him.
Because that's when a lot of Atlanta artists started coming out. I know they mentioned Outkast and Goody Mob
Hmm.
were coming out, and their music was introduced at the Freaknik and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of Atlanta artists were coming out then also. So I am sure that it would have got big
Yeah. Like,
without.
cause the blacks are gonna do what the blacks do. If we like
We
it,
do. We
you
gonna
know.
like it. Absolutely.
So, but you bringing up Outcast, that brings up one of the questions I had.
Hmm.
It was just interesting. Two things. It was interesting to see, to Uncle Luke's point. It. it's interesting to see the influence certain types of music had on the event itself. Because,
Mhm.
like, okay, so he has the booty music, the booty shaking, all of that.
Mhm.
So once that gets bigger, that's what that event turns into.
Mhm.
But it's also interesting to see the effect on different artists' music careers that the function had. So, like, So Def was the thing. They got even bigger because of Freaknik. Outcast, what was it? The Dungeon Family. So it was CeeLo.
Mhm.
CeeLo was not, but it was
CeeLo,
not just him. Gnarls Barkley
Goody
was
Mob,
probably that's them.
CeeLo,
He had so many
Outkast.
names and stuffs.
Mhm.
Yes, Goody
All
Mob.
the people I listen to.
Um,
That's.
Outcast, and it was one other dude they kept talking to, but he was a part of that as well. But it's like that's, and then of course with Jermaine Dupri heading all, it's like
Mhm.
it really helped push their careers, and then eventually just the music of the South in general. Like
Yeah.
it was just interesting to see like that festival itself had such a big part in pushing it and like
Yes.
growing. Um,
I wonder if
so I
they
wouldn't.
give any credit to the group that started it. Like I wonder
I
if
don't think
they
so.
have they gotten a thank you. Like thank you for even thinking about this, and having this little, started out as a little cookout party for the college
Mhm.
students and now it has grown. Like I wonder if they give credit where it's due.
I wonder. That's a very good question, especially since like some of them hadn't even seen each other in what the dude say 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so and then because it got so far away from just being a college party, and then the whole trying to change the name to Black Spring Break, or was it African American? Was it Black Spring Break?
Uh
Or
Probably. It was
like
it's
they
probably Black Spring Break. I don't think we were even saying like African American really back then.
probably black. Well, the
Not
only
really.
reason my brain went there is because it was like cities. If the city officials had gotten involved by that point, so I
Oh
wasn't sure if
yeah.
they were still trying to be politically correct or not.
Oh
But no,
okay.
I think
Yeah.
it was like the Black Spring Break Planning
Mhm.
Committee or something. So I wonder if you're right. I wonder if they even acknowledge the people who started it before now. Like, of course, they're acknowledging them now because they had to go find them
Mhm.
for the documentary.
Yeah.
Um, but then
Yeah.
like so a dude some another guy has bought the rights to the name.
Yeah, that
So
actually
I feel like they should
irritated me
have
a
it.
little bit.
What
It
irritated you about it? What
I
about it
I know
irritated
I
you?
know he took it and bought the name or whatever. Well, okay, never mind. Let me take that back because when when it came to his part and he was like, "Yes, I bought the name Freaknik." I thought he
Mhm.
was only gonna say, "I'm the owner of Freaknik," but he said Freaknik Festival.
Mhm. He renamed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which, and I think a lot of people felt like after the documentary was gonna be over, I think a couple people felt type
You
of
could
way
tell.
about that. You could tell that people were like, "You can't bring back Freaknik. That's this. That was like a whole different era. It felt different. It's not the same. Like you can't just buy the name and think it's gonna be the same. Like
Do you agree though?
I agree. It's a whole
Hmm.
different vibe now. Again, you still have some people. It'll probably be my age group that probably
Mhm.
go to these Freaknik, and probably age groups younger than me. But again, like nobody's really dancing anymore. Like it'll be they showed up uh with like the theme of 90s and things
Mhm.
like that. Um and then you have some people that will dance, but it's just I don't think it will be the same vibe at all.
I think I think it would be more of a music festival now.
Yeah.
So the difference is I think more so before it was just a huge block party. But at some
Yeah.
point they started having musical performances though. So
Yeah. Yeah. So
um
uh this is like more of an awareness event because they were doing like mental health situations and mental health vendors and concerts and still have food and stuff like that.
so
I think they were like
He turned
I
it
don't know.
into like a full rounded festival
Yeah,
instead of
like
just um
yeah,
I don't fault him for that at all.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with it.
I honestly, instead of someone else getting the name and doing something reckless with it, I didn't mind what he was trying to do. I do agree you're not gonna get back that vibe
Yeah,
necessarily, but you don't want back what it turned into either.
yeah. Now
So
I'm fine with him. Like, and I, I was just gonna flip out if he was like, I'm the owner of Freaknik.
no,
But
yeah,
after he said Freaknik Festival, I was like, oh,
he
okay,
just bought the
sir.
name,
Like,
or
all
yeah,
right,
and
sir.
he
Wait a
he
minute.
bought the rights to the Freaknik name and then added festival. So even he knows it's like it's another iteration of it. I just didn't understand why they were so offended by it. Like I don't know why it didn't seem more of like I want to, but cuz that's let's see, how do I'm trying to find a comparison. It's just like when anybody revives something, if they do it in a way to honor what was,
Hmm.
without trying to erase what was before, then I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah,
I see the issue when people try to erase the history
yeah,
or they try to act like they created it.
right.
Um, but I also it de- it depends on the crowd it draws, to the point where it's like you can't recreate it. If you get a bunch of people with nostalgia or that were raised by the original attenders of
Yeah,
Freaknik, or that did attend, like I feel like you can still get it. Won't Okay, I will agree it will never be the same because people are different now.
yeah, yeah,
But I feel like you could get some kind of a little of the essence of it, because, and
yeah.
I say that because of you see it like little bits and pieces. Like people have the Essence Festival, and then what's the music fest we talked about last week. Like I feel like there's little
Yeah.
bits and pieces of like the essence of what it was, and then
True.
homecomings, like the parties that you have at black school
Absolutely.
homecomings. Like I feel like you like different you got bits and pieces of everywhere, so
Yeah.
may never ever be exactly what it was,
Yeah.
the good part.
Yeah.
But like I feel like you could cultivate something similar.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he's doing something positive with it. That is
Also
a good
that,
thing. Now, is he still doing it? Like, is this a
I don't
yearly
know.
thing? Because I don't
Oh,
hear nothing about it.
I didn't even know when it started out showing the one from 2022. I was like, oh, they had one. I didn't even know they had, like, yeah, I didn't know either.
Like, I would
um
actually go to check it out.
Let me look it up. We
I
gonna
would go
go.
to check it out. I have to get my outfit together. But yeah, I would go to check it out
And
to
then
see what it's
it
about.
is it still a night, I would want it still needs to be a 90s type event. Don't make it a present day. We don't need another one of those.
Wait, no, please.
Like that's what we've got our
This need to
current music.
stick to 90s theme Freaknik Festival.
Oh, we missed it.
Oh, we already passed.
Yeah, it was
Let me
in
come.
April. Duh, spring break. So
Um.
maybe we can go next year.
Okay.
Um,
Are we too old to go to they spring
I
break?
doubt it.
Okay.
Not the way. Not if it's what he turned it into. If it's just a music
Okay.
fest, and then if we are, we'll tap out and we won't go. We'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Um,
So many places to go in Atlanta. Yeah.
listen. Um, but yeah, like I didn't understand. Like I get, of course, when you're the creator of something, or if you had a big hand in something being
Hmm.
something that it was, you do kind of side eye. They not doing it like we did, but I just didn't understand why. It seemed like some of them were like just upset
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
and I was like, why y'all like that bad? Like he didn't do nothing. He's not like, from what I could tell, he's not like tarnishing it or like
Hmm.
doing any reckless, and he's
Yeah.
not making he's not making it look bad or anything. Like it's just different.
Yeah.
What's up? But and he also, he's not calling it the original Freaknik either. Like he added
Yeah.
festival, so it's something different. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just didn't understand. Like some of them that it's like they were borderline bashing him or discrediting what he was doing, and that part I
Yeah.
didn't understand.
Yeah, I
all the way.
actually hope that they can like partner up or something. Like the founders,
Yeah.
the founders, and
Yes.
him, a
Now
founder
that,
of
yeah.
the festival. Unless they've already done
I
it, we late. But I hope that they
also,
could
yeah, because
partner up, and
we're late to
he
all of this.
introduced them like, hey, these are the founders, the original founders of Freaknik. Yeah,
That is one thing I do wish. I wish they had the rights and not anybody else. I
yeah,
wish
because that was
they,
a dope idea.
yeah, I wish they had the rights and they could make it. They could do whatever they want with it, really. But yeah, I wish just in general they had the rights to the name because it was their idea. They started it, like, because even he had to buy it from, like, Cartoon Network owned it. Like,
I
why
was
did Cartoon
like,
Network
why
ever?
did Cartoon Network?
You know,
And I guess back
like it
then
should have.
everybody didn't really pay attention to, copyrights and stuff that you could own
Yeah,
and things like that. But I was like, Cartoon, I didn't even know Cartoon Network had a cartoon.
yeah,
That was crazy.
called Freaknik, a
Uh,
T-Pain cartoon.
yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you, sir, because I totally forgot all about that. Thank you, sir, for taking it back. So it's owned
Also,
by
yeah, absolutely,
us.
absolutely, right.
It's
Because
owned
then
by
I wonder who
Jesus.
owned it before Cartoon Network. Like, I wish more knowledgeable and all of that, because I wish as soon as it blew up, they went ahead and locked it
Yeah.
down, because maybe they also would have had a little more control over what it turned into. And I know we
Maybe,
keep
yeah.
alluding to what it turned into, so eventually we will have to discuss what it turned into. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I feel like maybe they would have, yeah, maybe they would have had a little more say instead of just tapping out once they graduated or once it
Yeah.
turned into something
Once it
crazy. Like,
turned into, yeah. Because
um,
I, I didn't hear anything else from them after years went by. It, like, even in the documentary, like,
yeah,
they introduced it, we did this, and it's like the
hmm,
next couple years, it was nothing, like, not them being there, not them or participating or
well,
anything. Like, I didn't see. Now they probably not didn't show that in the documentary. I'm sure they probably did it then.
hmm,
Um, but I'm
well,
like
one of
wondering,
the
were they
ladies.
seniors? Did they graduate
Oh
right
yeah.
after? Like,
Well, I feel like they were there
mm,
for a couple of them because they saw the growth of it.
yeah, yeah,
So I think they were probably still there for a little bit,
yeah,
but once one of the ladies did say, like, once it started getting freakier or a little more out of hand or not what they originally planned for it to be, sh she was like, there was at some point where she said, "That's when I was done with it."
yeah.
I
Yeah. Was that well, yeah.
So,
It was like two ladies that
like,
had
not the
said that.
music lady, yeah, but the other lady, she was one of the founders, right?
I
The
think
other
so,
one, that's,
if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken. I don't
So
remember which one it was. It was, yeah,
it was not the music lady. She had like wavy hair or glasses or something. That was the
yeah.
music
And then
exec.
there was a lady with some braids or something. And
Yeah,
then
I'd
there was
her.
another
I
light
think
skinned lady. There was
oh,
three light skinned ladies that I
uh-oh.
saw. I, but yeah, I
I
don't
took
remember
notes
which
on,
one.
like, what was said. I didn't take notes on who said it.
It's
So,
fine.
but
It's fine. They were done. They were
yeah,
over when it started getting crazy.
cool. So she tapped out for a reason. We keep alluding to what it turned into. I think, well,
Mhm.
first, the point, at what my observation, it seems like it's like, as most things or some things, I won't say most things, like, it starts out as something good and then it grows, and people that never were supposed to be there in general are the ones that come in and tear stuff up. That's even what be happening with, like, the protests and stuff. Like, the people that they were peaceful, and it be outsiders coming
That
in,
is a wonderful example. Oh my
and then
gosh.
that's how stuff be getting, yeah. So, as we stated, it started out something strictly for the college students. Yes, it
Mhm.
got big. It grew from just a picnic to
Yep.
a huge block party. They mentioned it was taking up, like, blocks, multiple blocks in Atlanta, like all the streets. Like, the party was in the street. They had actual parties, and then
Yeah.
we know, as it, like, the music got more and more incorporated, like, they actually started having concerts and stuff. But people weren't even renting hotel rooms. They were just pulling up,
Oh my
hoping
gosh.
for the best.
Sleeping in the car, Jesus, or going with other
Yeah,
people.
right.
I'm like, Lord, y'all was trustworthy back then. Just
Listen,
hopping in the
hoping that
cars.
hoping they linked up with somebody that had a room, or and then I'm like, you
Okay.
also, like you saying, trust people that much, you know?
My
I
goodness.
I have heard of that. That so some people said they went in on like renting a U-Haul and just all slept in there. I heard of someone doing that for CIAA or
Really?
NCAA, whatever the big one when the chicks are trying to go catch them a baller, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's not that's
what are
not a
you
bad
about to say?
I'm about to say that's not a bad idea. It'll get hot in there. Well, you got air conditioning.
If you don't care
Depending
about
on what you got.
also access,
Was it like
but
a
you need
sprinter or it
access
was
to a
like
bath.
the
No,
actual
it was an
truck?
actual truck.
You know what that reminds me of? Poetic Justice.
No,
Them in that darn mail truck.
wasn't it a mail truck? Okay.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So anyway, like that was the vibe. It's like we pulling up,
They
we're here
like,
to
we
party, and we're
getting
going
down
with the
here.
flow. So it was still so even though it's got bigger, even the Luke years, even though it was wilder or freakier, like
Hmm.
I think that also standards or not standard, like how you determine what is what, which is where I'm
Yeah.
going with, like whether you call it wild or freaky, but you
Yeah.
can visibly see it grew people and the way the vibe shifted. But even
Hmm.
then, it was still safe. It was mutual, like we said. Like that's what but it was also still college students, and it
Yeah.
was still, it was still a big party. It was just huge party,
Yeah.
and like something they looked forward to. And
Yeah.
then 94, they said was the best year, right? Like that was the
Yeah.
most fun. That was when the South music, that was Outkast and all of them. That was their
Hmm.
era. Still a huge party, but
I think it was
I think
96 is when
that's
it
when the
started to
Olympics happened, and
change.
that's when the city got involved, like, and like they were trying to shut it down and stuff. But I think 94 also some outsiders started creeping in because it said that's when the community started getting involved. Still
Yeah.
good in most cases.
Yeah.
Like that's when vendors started showing up. Some people,
Yeah.
like one dude drove from Tennessee. He was making the airbrush
That's
shirts.
right.
He said he
That's
made a
right.
ton of money. Like so, that I think that's probably when it was still fun, but that's when outsiders
People
started
started
creeping
coming
in.
in. Yep.
Um,
Hmm.
People that may not have should have been there, like grown men are there. Like, why are they pulling up just because they heard it was some fun? Fun for college students should have been like like,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
just heard girls, but it didn't.
I'm like, we
Yeah,
gonna get there.
right. So when it got to the worst of the worst that they depicted, because like I'm saying, once outsiders showing in, stuff could have been happening. Even when it was still a college party, stuff could have been happening. It might
Yeah.
not just has been as bad, or we
Yeah.
just don't know about it. Um,
Absolutely.
but 96, that's when they were told the Olympics was coming, or is that the year the Olympics was coming? I don't know.
96 is when the Olympics came. I
That's when, okay.
remember the Olympics was
Okay.
there in 96.
Okay.
Hmm.
So at once it's like from the time Atlanta knew the Olympics was coming all the way to 96, because I don't know how much time was in between there and like how much time they had to prepare. But it was in the preparation is when like the city got involved, and it like they started wanting to shut him down. It was 96.
Hmm.
That's what you was confirming.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep.
Um that's when the city gets involved. They're trying to clean up the town because they even pointed out it's like they were even pushing the homeless out and all of that. Um,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then that's when the most people started about complaining about Freaknik, or like what
Hmm.
it was. And if they weren't so wild, I wouldn't mind. But but it's like, were you complaining before? And then like some people said, were they complaining about all the other events?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but also, that's when they started blocking traffic.
Oh my
That
gosh,
was
that was
dumb to me.
crazy.
I think they did more damage. It's like they were trying to prevent the traffic in the city, but they made it suck
Made it
for
so
everybody.
much worse.
Like
Then they say
that
people were
didn't
missing their weddings and stuff like that.
crazy.
Like
Like
how
they
y'all just
in the
gone?
highway, they made it impossible for you to be able to. like they blocked off exits. Like they were pushing them to the outskirts. But it's like, what if you needed to get into downtown for something other than Freaknik? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
They didn't think that through at all because
yeah.
that was crazy. They was like, we ain't no point anyway. We not having fun. It's traffic everywhere.
So
It's
yeah, it's
traffic
like it's
everywhere.
so I wonder though, was that like mission accomplished? Because it's like people didn't want to come back because the traffic was so bad. So it's like they
Yeah,
kind of got what they
kind of.
wanted.
Yeah, basically.
Um, but at the same time, with all the outsiders and all of that, of course, some shenanigans took place. And actually, that traffic pattern they set up is how old girl ends up getting
Oh
trigger
yeah,
warning, trigger warning, trigger
yeah.
alert. All the
Trigger
words that I'm
word.
supposed to say here. We
Uh
about
huh.
to that's how she ends up assaulted
Yeah.
because they were trying to go to the white part of town.
Mhm.
They blocked off all the white parts because they were trying to keep the Freaknik people from coming to the white parts.
Mhm.
Now she has to go in with all the other people there for Freaknik, and then that's when she ends up getting pulled out the car and they ripped her clothes off. And
That's
the only
crazy.
reason the people left her alone is because somebody said, "Here come the cops." So I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
y'all pretty much, and I'm not blaming the city on her sitch because the people who attacked her, that was their
Well,
own.
oh well,
But
yeah,
they
yeah,
also, but they contributed to it. She would not have been over there. She would have been on her side where she was headed had they not blocked the traffic.
yeah. I'm like, how crazy? How? Like, I wish we can ask those people that
The people
did
that did
that.
it.
Like,
That's just
what
in
was
general.
you
What
thinking? Like,
motivation do you have behind it?
yeah,
Anytime you do
like,
something like that, touching people without consent, they grab it just because. So if like you, so just because at one point they were freely shaking their butts and just like that was all consensual. It's like they did it. You don't just
yeah,
walk up to them and smack their butt or grab their chest or like start rubbing
yeah.
on like
The
you don't do
videos
that.
that they were showing through this documentary when
It
it
was
was
putting the
getting
camera
worse,
up
I
under
was
people's
like
dresses, like
pulling up people's dresses, pulling
all
people's
of that.
shirts. I'm like, are y'all freaking serious? Picking people up without their consent?
Yeah. So
That was crazy.
that's when it got crazy and it turned into pretty much a monster, for lack of a
Yeah,
better. Like that's when it turned into the negative that some people remember, and like that's the only part they remember or refer to when they hear Freaknik. But it's
yeah,
like y'all had so many beautiful fun years. Then
yeah.
these outsiders, because I'm sure it's like outsiders, like it was no longer just a ooh fun college party. Now just
Right.
anybody and everybody can pull up, and
Yeah.
all they saw was like, oh, they was out here and they were here for it. They were having fun. I'm coming. They obviously are here for it.
Should have made some
And
rules or something.
and that's what I'm. Yeah, that's
I
what
think I think they just did it and let it go. Just let
yeah,
oh everybody's invited. It's
just
fun. We're having fun. Let it just everybody come. Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
They
So
probably
I
didn't
feel
think it would get bad like that either. So
probably not because it was all innocent to start. So and you would
yeah,
think if we all are here just to have fun, it'll stay this type of thing. But
unfortunately.
with anything, if there's no guidelines and you can't control who's pulling up, there's somebody, it only takes one or one group, just one group of people pulling
And
up.
all in them and they friends.
And this and all they got to do is catch one person off guard, and then one person is too many. So like one person getting assaulted is too many. So it don't even take.
I hope like nobody was like
I'm all the way.
yeah,
I
I
think they
hope
were.
that probably was.
I am sure. If they was touching and grabbing, if the only reason they backed up off of the one that told her story is because
Yeah,
they said, "Here come the police," I'm sure wherever the cops were not, some people, and that's scary.
very. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Y'all was tripping. Whoever that was, y'all was tripping and y'all messed it up for
absolutely.
all of us. Y'all
But
messed it up.
I'm sure, yeah,
Crazy.
I'm sure that's what pushed it over because the dude said like if he ever felt like it wasn't a safe event that he would allow his kids to go to is when he would shut it down. So after she got um after her situation, that's when he was like, you know what, we're done. But I feel like you were saying, I feel like if they would have established some structure before that point, it
Yeah.
would have. I'm not. It would have been easier to avoid. I'm not saying it was completely unavoidable because, like, if that was the case, a lot of the cases that happened wouldn't happen. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like they would have minimized or at least had a little more. And then maybe they also would have avoided getting the city officials involved with the whole blocking
Yeah.
the traffic. Like maybe if they would have created some structure themselves, they
Yeah.
would have avoided the involvement,
Absolutely.
which is what I think pretty much added or created the decline.
Yeah. And I'm sure again, like outside looking in, of course, like we come up with all the what could have been done now that we're
Yeah,
looking at it. I'm
absolutely.
sure they think the same thing. I know they were just college students just thinking of something fun to do and didn't
Absolutely.
think it was going to get that big. um but yeah, outside people always messing it up.
Mhm.
Like it's I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
it's crazy how something that good or just good
Mhm.
things can turn into bad that quick just because
Mhm.
some people acting foolish. Just a couple of people. It's crazy to me. But
Yeah.
yeah. Um yeah. That's
So, last thing. That was my question hearing that. So of course I had that whole it takes the outside, of course the outsiders ruin it. Soon as I heard that it started out as a college thing and then you heard these 30 and 40-year-olds was pulling up, I was like, well, that now it takes some outsiders to tear something up. But after watching it and knowing like how they didn't really have a bunch of structure, do
mhm.
you think they would have been able without the city's involvement? Do you think they would have been able to sustain it anyway?
Mm-mm. No.
Me either.
No.
Like I feel like
Cuz
something was
if it's
bound.
open to the public and even
No
though you
rules.
say oh college students only, like you would literally have to beef up your security and be
Mhm.
checking people, and this is an open outdoor event,
Yeah,
so
you would
how
have to
would they do
confine
that?
it to one
Yeah.
area too, instead of just out in the streets.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. So and,
yeah.
and nowadays, like with the festival that
Mhm.
the guy has, like of course there's security, that we have more
Mhm.
rules now to having events. So
Mhm. And it's at a
his
set location.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's not just
whi-
like the whole city.
yeah,
So
which is
yeah.
why I think his thing has potential if done correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all don't get out there cutting a fool. I see that he's done this for since 2019 look like.
Mhm.
So it looked like it's been going well. Don't y'all get out there and start acting crazy, and now he can't have his festival. His festival.
Y'all tear
Okay.
it up again.
Okay. I want to know if it is 90s themed based, like, or is this just a Freaknik
Just
festival and but they're playing like today's music there,
mm.
or like I wonder if it's all 90s based.
It looked
Probably
like
not.
the one in 2022, like 21 Savage was there. So I think
Okay, so
they
they
might have
mixed it
turned it to
up.
like a current music festival. They should
Yeah.
do, but then I wonder would it feel overdone? I about to say they should have a lineup like the Lovers and Friends Fest. Getting those
Now,
get 90s artists. Like if that was the golden era of Freaknik, get 90s artists until they
so
be too old.
I did see. What did I look up where I got? Um, I did see in 2019 that um they had like Juvenile and
Okay.
um so they probably started it
Mhm.
as we're gonna
Like 90s ish.
Juvenile's real, isn't he 90s
It's
or
2000s,
2000s?
but still a nostalgic lineup. Let's say that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
going for nostalgia instead
yeah.
of.
Or are they gonna just all just
But then if you keep doing that, do you keep it as a college event, or does this just turn into something like the Tom Joyner reunion, like where it's like artists? So like the Tom Joyner family reunion, like them the grown
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
So could this be? Could Freaknik have been, or still, there's still time. Could
Yeah.
could Freaknik be like the '90s kids version of the Tom Joyner reunion? So like it's for the adults. It's not for college students anymore. It's for the adult the people who were coming up while Freaknik was a thing.
You know what? Just looking at it, look like it's open to everybody.
Well, yeah, I'm saying right now. I'm saying, but
Oh,
could would that make it better? Like, would that ease
just
some
to have it for
people's?
us.
Just, yeah, like make it for the '90s people. Like, of course, other people come to the things, but like
I would love that.
catered to like the people who are like from that era,
I would love
and
that.
like not focus on college. Because if it's a college, if you leave it as a college event, you're gonna have current music because they're not gonna rock with
Of course. I would love that. I would love that they only
cater
like
to the
cater
grown
to
ups,
the
the '90s.
generation that came up with it. You know what? Speaking, that brought my attention to a restaurant that I
Okay.
believe is in Atlanta.
Okay.
Is it in Atlanta? Don't remember. It is a restaurant that um has certain time frames where only 30 years older and older 30 years or
Mhm.
older is based on that age group, this
Like the grown
restaurant.
and sexy time, or what
Yeah,
the
but this
vibe.
is like this is mostly all day, like it's 30 and up
Oh.
age group. Their restaurant is based on that. Like they give like people under 30 a certain amount of time. I think it's a couple hours. I think it's like early in the day or something like that. But the
Oh.
rest of the day into
Because
the evening,
usually it's
they
the
say 30 and
evening.
up. This is that
Mm.
they base their restaurants like a luxury upscale. I'm gonna find it. Dang, see
Oh,
this
that's neat.
upscale luxury restaurant that is for 30 years and older. I was like, wow, that's neat. It was like, they need somewhere to go. They need somewhere to meet people and see people. Like, we just like it to be. And of course, people had issues with that, but they
Oh,
like,
of
we
course.
don't care nothing about that. We want the age group to be 30 years and plus and older.
Because how is that different from it shifting in the nighttime, or something shifting from everybody's welcome to 21 and up is welcome? Like, how is that different? We want them a little older.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else.
And so many more places to go.
Like, you can literally go anywhere else.
Anywhere.
um,
Yeah, so many places. Yeah, but I thought that was interesting. If I find the restaurant, I'll mention it. I'll send it to you. But dang, see all this stuff. I told you I should just start sending you stuff. But
when you think about it.
it was just neat. It was a nice restaurant too. I think it was in Atlanta. I think it was in Atlanta.
I mean, that
And
sounds Atlanta like.
yeah,
Or Houston. I would, I
yeah,
would, I would, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that was also in Houston. We need to go back to Houston. Neither here nor there.
yeah. Yeah. You know what?
Neither here nor there.
Yeah,
We
we
can.
need to try that. We need to try that one more time. Try that one more time. Uh, is this it? No, I'm gonna have to look for it after because
hmm
now I'm seeing more restaurants that are like that.
Oh, okay. Like I've heard of that. Like I said, like in the evening time, like they switch over to like that vibe, um, or like certain days,
Yeah,
But early in the day, they already. I think it's cool,
they was
especially
like,
like we said, there are so many other places for them to go.
and it was a short period of time too. It was like, okay, y'all got like 2-3 hours that y'all
Y'all
can
can
come
come for
here,
breakfast, and then y'all got to be
and
out.
then y'all gotta be out because we need the grown folk to come in here. But
Wow.
yeah, their restaurant is based off of the older generation, and
Okay.
it's a luxury restaurant. So yeah,
Cool.
yepers.
So
So I
yeah,
thought that was
final
neat.
final overall thoughts. It was a good doc. It
It
seemed like a dope
was.
time.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
the good part seemed really good, but the bad part seemed pretty scary.
Yeah, that was
So,
horrible. Had to be able to carry a gun back then. Mm-mm.
mm. But is it any more scary than it is just in general walking around out here nowadays?
And yeah, now it's like, oh, now I really don't care for real. Like back then, at least whatever. But
It's like they were all in one area at that function, but like now it's like you don't even got to be at a party. You can just
you
be
don't. You can be
minding
at
your
the
business and
house,
something
going
something
into
can
your
happen to you.
garage,
You know,
taking
so
your child to the park, pulling into your driveway to take your groceries out, coming from the grocery, like anywhere.
you could be at the grocery store.
At the
Shucks.
grocery store. Come
Listen, they
come
gonna
out
get
of
mad at
church.
me.
Be
I was
in
I was
church.
about to say you could be in church. I was like,
You know, people just don't care nowadays. Like it's not
Lord,
safe nowhere. Okay?
no.
Nowhere. All the
And we
places
like
that you thought you would be safe. At
you should
the
have been
church
safe.
at the most.
Listen, that's why I was like, they
People
about to
don't
be
care
mad
no
at me. But
more.
yeah, listen, some people are in charge that should not be in charge.
Or they
Some
should be in church and should be
no, in charge,
creep.
in
Oh,
charge.
you said in charge.
No,
I'm
they
like,
absolutely need to be in charge.
what?
Absolutely need Jesus, but they
Okay.
should not be in charge. Should not have access to people the way they do. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's like everybody's just free now, just free to do whatever. They're not free to do whatever, but people are just it's more frequent now, or people acting crazy. So y'all be safe out here in these streets. I am so sorry, and I'm sure she is not the only
Absolutely not.
victim there. To anybody that went through horrible things while down there, I'm so sorry. And
Like she said, they didn't even do nothing when she told.
yeah,
Oh, circling back to all the people when people do come out and say stuff happened to them, you be like, well, why you didn't say nothing sooner? She's told when it happened and still nothing happened. So, but that's my take on that. Continue. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. No. I totally agree. Oh, speaking, Miss Lady, I don't even remember your name, but honey, you look good for
Oh, Stacy was her name. If you were talking about
okay,
the one that
the
got assaulted.
victim. Yes.
Yes, Stacy.
Okay, you look good, girl.
Yeah.
Okay, she
Actually,
looks
all of
like
them.
she. What years
Actually,
is that?
all of them people.
Yeah,
Actually,
everybody look good to be. Jesus.
yeah.
Okay, come
Listen,
on,
come
black
on.
don't crack.
Listen.
Okay, okay, dude, I love it. I love it. All
Yeah.
right, y'all, Freaknik. All right, y'all, we might check out the festival.
If
I
it,
don't
yeah.
know.
If
It'll
it's
be
for
next.
us and if it happens next year,
We'll
because we're
let
not
y'all
gonna be
know.
like the people too old and just pulling up. To
Yeah, right. I don't want to pull up no college event, and we the only two
you
grown
know.
folk, and then y'all be like, no outside. Have no time.
Nah.
Mm-mm. But no, I do want to experience and see like just what
What
y'all
it's turned
doing
into.
down there. Yeah, yeah, and I like the theme, so
Yeah.
I like the theme. I need to update my earrings and stuff, and probably
Oh.
another hairstyle. I try to do the Janet Jackson, the poetic justice type
Mhm.
situation, but I don't never do it right. This is not right.
Well, close enough.
Anywho, it is time for the business spotlight. I hope I didn't like all in the mic because I felt that I did. But business spotlight, no, I'm saying because y'all know I'm hoarse right now.
It's
Um,
fine.
business spotlight today is for our homie Chris Lindsey. Okay, Chris Lindsey has a single out right now, and it's
Mhm.
called Dance for Me. Okay,
Mhm.
look, this is a vibe. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all
Mhm.
know it's a vibe. This is like a pull your sunroof back, your drop top back, and just ride through the city streets and play the song. Y'all should check it out. His
Mhm.
music, Dance for Me, his single, can be found on all available streaming platforms. That is Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, anywhere that you can find, music on any platform. His single is there. Dance for Me. If you would like to connect with him, he is on Facebook as Chris Lindsey, and he
Mhm.
is also on Instagram at Chris underscore Lindsey underscore. So y'all check him out. Run those plays up, okay?
Mhm.
Play this, stream the song. It is real dope. I love it, and yeah, y'all check him out. Hopefully, he'll be doing some performances soon. I'm hoping that he does, because it's a nice song, y'all. It's a nice little single, okay? I believe he is working on some other stuff, but for right now, yeah, y'all check him out. Dance for Me on all your music streaming platforms.
Woohoo.
Get those plays in, y'all. Get the single. Get the
Yeah,
single.
absolutely. Shout out to Chris.
Shout
As
out
you
to
know, we've
you.
had him on here before. Like, so we actually know
Yes.
him. He is actually a friend. We're not just,
Mm-hmm.
so we're super
Absolutely.
proud of him. We're super proud of him. Uh,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yes. Proud of you, Chris. Brr, 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 brr. I can't, I'm not even going. But
It's
yes,
fine.
we appreciate y'all joining us for another episode of Hey Fave.
Mhm.
Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your family and your friends. And y'all let us know, y'all, just your thoughts on the Freaknik document. Am I saying that right? Freaknik?
Yeah.
Freaknik.
It's cause like Freak and
Jesus.
Picnic.
Right,
I've
because
heard
I'm like,
some people shift into Freaknik, but I'm like, but it's
yeah,
Freaknik, like freak,
yeah,
you know.
that's what I heard Lil Jon say it on the documentary. I was like,
He did.
I don't know. I mean, he say Ursher, so I don't know.
So can we really take his
I
pronunciation?
guess not. We love you. We love you.
um,
Freaknik documentary. Y'all check that out. Is on Hulu.
yes,
Very good documentary. Not what you think
absolutely.
it is, or not what I thought it was.
They well,
Very
no, because
informative.
everybody made it seem like it was just gonna be exposing people or like what they did, and it was
That's what
like
I
like
thought.
they
That's why I
did
didn't even watch it.
they did have footage from people's cameras. I think that's actually a good thing about that, like how everybody was walking around
Hmm.
with a camera because we've got all this footage that we might not have gotten.
Yeah.
Um,
And their faces
but
were
yeah,
blurred out, so most of
yeah,
their faces were blurred out. Yeah. Well,
yeah. So like, um, yeah, they made it sound like it was just gonna be an yeah, an exposure type sitch
that's what I
instead of an
thought.
educational, but it was more educational for sure.
Hmm.
Um,
Very informative. It was really good documentary.
mhm.
So y'all check that out. That's on Hulu. And we'll
Let us
see
know your
y'all.
thoughts and
Oh
let us know
yeah.
if you went. Tell us about it if you went. How
Yeah,
was
if
it for
y'all
real?
went. Yeah, how was the experience? I want to know. Let us know. Okay. We want to know, what was your experience at the Freaknik?
Absolutely.
We won't say nothing. We just want to know. Y'all can tell us privately. Y'all can send us a private message or something like that. If you don't want to,
Yeah,
but
if you don't want folks to
yeah.
know.
But if you don't mind, because we probably gonna ask the question on social media, but if you don't mind, but yeah, if you went, let us know. How was
Mhm.
your experience? And yeah, this was good. Like I said, I like the documentary. It's really, really, really good.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, y'all check it out again, and we'll see y'all on the next episode.
Mhm.
Bye.